For decades, I've had question after question from people about what do those signs mean? What do the billboards mean when they say we buy any house? Well, I've talked about what that's about and who that's for and who benefits from those signs at a freeway exit, those billboards, those online ads. ProPublica did a thing on the people you see the signs that say we buy ugly houses, and their report was really, really ugly. And I've read their report, and I want to say something. There are clear abuses going on, but these are franchise organizations, and there are some that specifically have been dishonest and taken advantage of people, and there are others that are just trying to make money as investors and not trying to take advantage. But I want to tell you the signs and what you need to be aware of and careful. So there are unethical people who are real estate investors that look for people that are desperate and take advantage of them. In the ProPublica piece, they were repeatedly profiling people who were elderly, maybe of declining mental capacity, who were having their houses essentially stolen out from under them, being paid pennies on the dollar what their homes were worth, and then being evicted from their homes. It's an ugly, ugly story. And as so often happens with things when older people are taken advantage of, it's because those of us that are younger, that are their friends or relatives, aren't being nosy enough, not being involved enough. And so often it's because people and families have scattered across the country and not living where the aging relatives are. They lose touch, lose track, and don't really understand what's going on in their lives. And also, a lot of people don't like their adult kids asking questions. And the reality is, if you see signs that your aging mom or dad or grandmom or granddad are showing signs that they're not okay, but they're pushing back against you, you got to be nosy, you got to be pushy, you've got to be involved. Because what's key, as I read this report, was the people are having their homes stolen from them, essentially, having their equity stolen from them, overwhelmingly are older people that are isolated, that need the influence of their younger loved ones to prevent the train wreck from happening. You know, a salesperson can really sweet talk, and that's a friendly face for someone who's isolated and lonely and maybe scared. And when they're isolated, that individual wins their confidence, has them sign a contract that only a lawyer could love. They have no idea what they've done about having their home taken away from them for pennies on the dollar. I want to make it clear that the ProPublica story obviously has identified some really bad apples in real estate investing. I find that most real estate investors are good, decent, hardworking people just trying to build a portfolio of investments. There are always going to be those in any industry that prey on the weak, take advantage of the vulnerable, and steal. And unfortunately, the law is not equipped to fix those wrongs and make them right. The only thing the courts really care about is that your signature right there. And even all these elder abuse statutes that have been passed in states around the country, they look better on paper than how they're being implemented in practice. So that's why it's so important for you to be involved. On real estate investing, selling to someone who is an investor and hitting the easy button. You know, one of their primary markets are when adult children inherit a house from a loved one, a parent who's passed away. And again, with families spread out around the country, and in the last years of time in that house for your parent, the house deteriorated, the paint's peeling, driveways cracked, the gutters have fallen off, the roof needs replacing. It can overwhelm adult children, particularly if they live somewhere else in the country. They're grieving about the loss of their parent, and they'll decide that rather than going through the process of hiring contractors across the country, having the work done, they just want to be done with it. Now, understand that's not a free ride for you. Yes, you will have avoided the work, but the investor who buys that home from the adult kids, that investor is going to make money on the fact that you don't want to do the work. That, to me, is not a scam. That is not a con, and that's not a thief.